We have a wonderful alumni and also speaker today, and which is Teresa Fung, and she had she had an amazing career in the Bay Areas with lots of early or from early age into Intel, Amazon, Apple's, and had some very successful careers at Amazon's and also happened to be building up his own consulting practice now. And we have lot of things to hear about from her. I'm very excited on that. And I want to make today's session a very interactive. So we have Gloria that will be helping out on the Q&A, and also feel free to jump in with your own questions. And again, myself and Horan, I'll be running the mentorship program this year, and exciting to be here, and look forward for a wonderful session. All right, let's get started. So the first part of the session we want to focus on is personal career journeys. So this is going to be a casual sharings and talk, and we'll go with the flow. But from Teresa, I want to hear about her candidly share early age careers and what's kind of some I heard there was some turnaround stories during the mid age, and also leads towards to the wonderful successful I wouldn't say top because we have more tops going forward, but we would lead to more very wonderful stories at Amazon, and how it happened to be lots of things to talk about. All right, Teresa, floor is yours.
So thank you, Haran, and thank you, Gloria, and everybody who joined us today. I think the pleasure is mine to spend this morning with you guys. So when Gloria reached out to me, and also Haran as well, so we want to talk about or share my career journey. And I look back in my journey is I wouldn't say I've done so much, but then there are just a lot of ups and downs. So maybe we can start with where I come from, actually, just as a context, right? Because I originally from Hong Kong, and I came over to the States for college, and because I study computer science and mathematics. So I went to college in Wisconsin, so Midwest cold. Yeah. So that, computer science back in those days, and even now, at least from my perspective, the ideal place to be, to develop a career is the Silicon Valley. So, and that's how I came here, ended up in the Northern California, and I've been here for quite some time, actually. So, I mean, the early days, I had many jobs, actually, in the Valley. At that time, the market was good, and company was just higher, especially for new graduate. As long as come from a good school, and they believe that you have the curiosity to learn, they will hire you. It's unlike these days, it's all about technical interviews, behavioral interviews. It wasn't like that back then. So I think the first 5 years of my career, I actually switched company a lot. Every time I move, I told myself there is a reason, right? I started out as a QA engineer, and then, I moved because I switched over to software developer, and then I moved because I moved from a startup to a big company, and then I moved because, my boss moved and he wanted me to, go with him. I also even spent some time back in my home country. I went back to Asia and worked there for a year and realized, I actually miss Silicon Valley a lot, and I came back. So every time, as if I have a reason, or maybe immediate reason to justify why I should make that move. And honestly, to give some idea, is that I think most of my position doesn't last. I think on average it lasts about 6 months. I think the longest one is about a year, and that's how frequent I moved during the first 5 years. And it was fun, but then now looking back, it's almost like I didn't quite actually have a clear goal or objective for every move. It's just whatever come along that I say, oh, this looks good, let's go for it, right? And on one hand, I feel that, okay, or looking back, I wish that I have maybe established a better goal and a longer term goal. But on the other hand, I'm also glad with the experience because it honestly opened my eyes, to see how different company works and even different companies at different country works as well.
Wonderful, Teresa. Actually, it sounds like lots of like early age stories. It's based on being like a chasing the passion and pursuing your interest, and even like not just in the Bay Area, sounds like being very internationally like a typical. I wouldn't call it typical, but it's like very unique. Actually, in the opposite way, very unique perspective bringing as a working professionals, and I think today's topic is going to be lots of things related to like a women leadership and being how to run as a successful female working professionals in the Bay Area. Just like in our chat rooms, I feel like maybe it happened to be I'm not on this room. It's happened to be a wonderful like ladies group. That's how strong our rising women in the Bay Area. So I think definitely like you mentioned, Teresa, as we talked about earlier, like your career journey is actually not going straight. If I'm in the my financial service industry, I actually describe it as more like a stock chart. There's an up and downs, and there's also lots of like a turnaround stories. So I heard something on the mid age. There was some like setbacks happens, and there's some from like returning moms into the workplace, and how kind of like really getting re-engaged with a busy professional life. And I was actually wondering if we can share something about that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be applied to lots of audience and the people who can actually get a chance to see this recording and chat.
Definitely. You bring out a great point, because often career planning is not just by itself, right? Career is a part of life, and often how it intertwine with your life events or life planning. Often I think I can't say for sure that it affects women more than men, but then often from the stories I hear, a lot more female professionals resonate with this type of story as well. When I mentioned, I was switching companies, having a joyride, I would say, and how does it end, right? Because, every time I keep moving, and then, I feel that I get to a better company, I get a better pay, things like that. And it ended up actually with a market downturn. And when that happened, I was with a startup, and the startup need to let go of half of the company.
Wow.
And I was one of them. So it feels like I was, on a roller coaster ride, keep climbing higher and higher. And then all of a sudden, like one turn that I didn't see what's coming, and boom, I was laid off. Yeah, and it was definitely not easy to, at least emotionally, put aside financial concern, but then emotionally, it was a little difficult to swallow at the time. And I was, young and inexperienced. But I think, it's just one of those setbacks from life, right? Whether when we grow up, when we are a student, and then for whatever reason, we somehow maybe flunk an exam, right? Or we want to get into a college that we end up they didn't accept, right? This is, now I look at it, it's just one of the things that, make me stronger, I would say, because now I see what it's like. I live through it, not just actions that I can do, but then how do I feel? How do I manage that emotion? Is definitely helped me grow as well. So, when I got laid off, at that time, the market was quite quiet. So, on one hand, I look for jobs. On the other hand, not a lot of companies are hiring, and the competition, then you can imagine that the competition was fierce. So, intertwined with personal life is that, at that time, I get married. So that I think, well, maybe it's a way of life, how it planned out for me. Instead of focus on my career, which I had been in those first 5 years, maybe it's time to switch gear a little bit so that I can put my main focus on my family as well. So that play out into getting married, building a family. I have 2 kids. I stay-home mom. I take care of them, the babies myself, and I basically the whole identity was a mom. And I was completely disconnected with the industry at that time, even though I'm physically here. And that went on for 8 years until my younger son, I have 2 boys. They are 2.5 years apart. And I spent time at home until my younger one started kindergarten. And that's the time that I decided to, because I feel that they are old enough, at least, they start their own life from school and stuff, then maybe it's time for me to, shift some focus back to myself and my career as well.
Wonderful, Teresa. And beside the 2 boys, I heard there was also some puppies you have, like you always carry over. I think he's probably sleeping now. He's not making noises today.
Oh yeah, the 2 puppies are in the room. They are sleeping. Thank God.
2,
yeah.
Wow, 2 puppies.
Yeah. So the puppies are now at current days. they are my new babies.
New babies, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Teresa. I think one thing just personal I learned is what you just sharing is it's kind of like it's never be easy to kind of facing surprises or like a temporary setbacks. It's never been foreseen to come, right? However, it's kind of like a work out well, especially when those kind of like little setbacks coming into early age. Sometimes coming to play out into the early stage kind of really give people the taste of how it actually feels, and it actually turned out to be kind of can empower people to moving forward, and later on if they see a similar situation, they know much better how to handle it. So wonderful story to share. Thank you. And so for the audience, I've just encourage everyone just facing the setbacks is never being also anticipate dramas coming into life. So there will be definitely lots of things to come, and the only things we can prepare is being flexible and adaptable as well. And before we talk about the peak,
one of the peaks.
One of the peaks. I do have another little bit challenging questions. I remember you talk about when you first entering back into the workforce. It takes some time trying to work out with a little bit like a younger peers, but it works out to be like you open your personal interaction with them. And getting to know them better, so they kind of like willing to hear your stories and willing to be you guys being participate each others into the workforce. And can you share a little bit like how that works out?
Sure. So when I re-enter the industry, and I one thing led to another, I landed a job at Amazon as a software engineer. In the back of my mind, I keep thinking that, I have this huge career gap, right? So I'm behind. I have this big, empty void or hole or black hole that, I myself see is, it's a flaw in a way. But then when I entered, went back to the office, and, I look around, I mean, of course, I wasn't in the industry, but then people keep entering, right? People graduate, people join. So the majority of my teammates are younger. I'm younger in age, let's say. And I keep, I think it's just insecurity come from me, thinking that how will I be, how do I gel well with them, basically, right? How do you interact? How do they think of me? So that, and I already have kids. They are like they were like 8 to 10 years old at that time, and most of our teammates, they are young, like maybe early 30s, late 20s, early 30s, and they are still dating. They are, or maybe engaged, but then not.
I mean, puppies,
quite, right? Not quite at where I was, and I keep thinking that, oh, if they knew that, maybe I'm so much, like age-wise, like the age-wise, the gap is not like close to their age, or family stage is quite different. What would they think of me, right? Would they think that, oh no, she is a different breed altogether, and how would that play out? And turns out it's proven that I'm just overthinking it, because when I'm at the workplace, I'm just being me, right? I didn't bring the mom side in there, right? Because it's not needed. They're not my kids, they're my peers, and I treat them as a peer, and they treat me as a peer. And just based on that interaction, they see, they have the impression of me as me. And that actually helped me build or find my identity back in the workplace, because I was just too much concerned thinking from the age perspective, or all kinds of boundaries that I put around myself. And so that, they know me as just this person on this team, working on projects, whatever quality they like or they find from me. And we had a great working relationship. So only until later that they realized, oh, your kids, you have a 10-year-old kid. Then they were like surprised. Or later on they say, they find out I have teenagers, and they're like surprised, because they thought that I was maybe similar to where they're at, which they maybe just having their first newborn, so that jaw drops. But then apart from that moment, it doesn't change how their impression of me, right? Because we already built a relationship based on our interaction, but not all these other criteria that we defined or labeled on ourselves.
Wonderful, Teresa. I think this is definitely a story most of people might facing the barriers and different perspective when people taking right into this kind of situation. Like people like you can turn around into a successful turnout on the relationship building, getting to know senior or younger peers, and working out like a 1 + 1 bigger than 2. Some other people might just think it on a little bit on the negative side, or like and just keep a shy away from these kind of situations. So definitely something to learn. And this part of life, people always have a common interest, and to build up. Just when people always mention, like when you leave a company or like organizations, the most valuable things is the relationships and the people you know. So it's always carry forward. Wonderful, Teresa. So for the audience today, I just want to share, like Teresa is being super humble. He didn't tell us about like being running over Amazon all the way to be an engineer manager, to I think 2 different sectors, and have a very successful journey there. And she also done something called the interview bar raisers.
Yes.
Bar raisers, and it sounds very like high standard interview coaching type of practice. I was wondering, like Teresa, can you share a little bit on that?
Sure. So I mean, Amazon is very important for me. That's the time with Amazon, I was there for 7 years. Not only to me is making a comeback, right? I was disconnected from the industry. I was a stay-at-home mom. I have this huge gap, and it's joining the company itself is challenging. They have this rigorous interview process, and landing a position that is a technical position, engineering position with technical interview and stuff like that. That's actually my first time going through this type of interviews. I was disconnected, so that it's new for me, even though it's probably not new for a lot of people. But then, I made it, and that gives me a huge confidence boost. And to me, I feel that not only, is that feeling that I still got it, I'm back. But then now it's almost a second chance to do the engineering work. And only then I realized how much I love it. The first 5 years I was just going around, moving around, but then didn't quite know what I want. But this time is a second chance that I love that job. If you ask my family, every day, I woke up, open my eyes, I'm excited to go to work. I can't wait. It's that feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, love the environment. The culture is very actually matching my own preference. So I'm someone who's, well, you can say fast moving, but also you can also describe as impatient, depends on which way you look at it. So the fast pace, every challenge is new. Everyone, work very hard, a team effort. Those things excite me a lot, right? And that's why, I went from this, very insecure and have labels all over myself person when I joined, to actually finding confidence and voice. And the work is very rewarding as well, and being recognized. So and that was great. And then, like how I mentioned, that I later on transitioned into an engineering manager, a software manager. And there is also this community that I found so interesting, and I was curious as well. It's called the Interview Bar Raiser. It's a small group of people that the duty is to facilitate the company-wide hiring. So not only to conduct the interviews with the rest of the interviewers, but then it's also the duty is to make sure the interview loop maintains the same high level of standards in evaluating candidates. And that group, that community is small because it requires a rigorous training. Again, the training is at least 3 months or more, depends on your availability of your schedule, right? So that is definitely something not for everyone. I know a lot of people, they wanted to, but then their day job is just too busy, right? And I was lucky enough to be accepted to the program, and I joined the program thinking that not only is the activity seems interesting, but the skills that I learned is also valuable. The soft skills, right? How you collaborate with people, and often how you resolve contentious conversation, because people have different opinion usually. So those are interesting. But what I didn't expect, the most rewarding part is actually come out of working with different teams. Because,
working with different teams.
Right, because this the bar raiser is to serve the entire company. So every interview is like a new puzzle, right? It's a new candidate, a new position, a new team that's hiring. And that's actually opened my eyes quite a bit to not just learn, interact with different teams like networks, but to learn about different parts of the business as well. And I found that it's like really rewarding.
Wow. Thank you for sharing, Teresa. It sounds like a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I personally, I can still feel the passion when you kind of sharing it. And for the audience and for the whoever you're watching these recordings later, just want you to know, if you happen to know Teresa and Gloria into the MJAA program, you can feel the passion and the enthusiasm they can bring, the energy they bring into the groups. Definitely people you, and peers you love to work with and get to know. And also, Teresa, thank you for keep the high bar at Amazon. So personally, I have been interviewed with Amazon back in 10 years ago on finance positions when I first get out of my MBA program. I didn't get it because the bar riser was pretty tough on me. And now I can tell, like, because those are the one of the people being keeping raising the bars at Amazon, and it's definitely a very selective group of people, make sure the organization is running on the right track. So but it tends to be a really great interview. I learned a lot from that. It doesn't happen to be the right role for me. And have some like we'll move on to some like a fun questions. And again, Tara, thank you for sharing the career journey with us. We all have open our floor to some interactive questions, probably around like 11:15. So we have a few minutes. Before that, I want to share some like interesting questions, and always have this is the first one is I think the audience, we all can feel the energy and passion like Teresa bring in, and also as she work on a career coach, we can picture ourselves to be talking with a very energetic career coach, engaging career conversations. But on the side note, I heard about Teresa, you also leading on some of the volleyball games in your community, and was that something like you always being like a stand out with all other moms, and not like a beating them down, but it's always the kind of like a really taking the lead, be the top players in the court. Share something like what's kind of like a interesting story.
So volleyball, if you know me personally, you will probably hear too much about volleyball from me already. So, and if you have been my direct report, then you definitely hear a lot from me. So, here's the thing. Often we talk about work-life balance, like how you maintain a balance of that. So, and typically, the criteria that defines work and life is family and office, of course, right? But then for me, it actually goes three-way. So I have, the office me, the family me, and then the volleyball me. So because it's not that I act differently, but then I volleyball. I have my teammate. When I'm out there, they know me as the volleyball player Teresa, right? And that is
I like that
another side of me, and I love it. So that it's just I have been playing volleyball since as a kid. So that it's a sport that I enjoy a lot, and then it's a team sport as well, so that when you make a play, everybody's so excited. So when I play volleyball, I have a different group of friends, right? They are my teammates, volleyball teammates. So that I always say I would divide my work-life balance into 3 equal portions. And I still play, before the, like pre-COVID, I played at least 3 nights a week. It's a league game, so that, a couple of hours in the evening. And I play tournaments sometimes. And actually, if not for the COVID, I am supposed to be visiting Japan for a tournament like this month.
Wow.
It's not happening now, but maybe in the future, right?
Awesome.
But then, so like these days, even though a lot of the games are not happening, but then we move outdoor. So I play grass volleyball, and I also coach youth volleyball as well. So it's been rewarding in a different way.
That sounds like so much fun. Something really exciting. Because I know like sport and professional can kind of like a combine, can kind of like come together. Really works well. Kind of energetic each other. It's like just like being like have a nice workout in the mornings can be an energetic person the whole day. And,
my boss probably disagree with you, because all they got is that, I gotta go because I have a game.
Absolutely. And volleyball itself is pretty competitive, and at the same time require lots of teamwork and team chemistry. It doesn't have to be the most strongest or like the most higher jumpers can win the game. It's more about like the teams can win the entire game. So it's like a community.
Yeah, and I would think that volleyball is a hobby that I'm passionate about, right? And sometimes some people I know that one of the drivers to get them off work is that because I need to spend time with family, right? So or whether it's family or a hobby, I would strongly suggest everybody to have one or identify one, because, that is honestly, work is important, but then sometimes it just keeps coming, right? So that if, for me at least, if it reach a point that I need to sacrifice my game for work, then it's actually a signal for me saying, hey, I need to do something about this, because this is where I draw the line, right? It's as important, or you need to, I need to sacrifice time for my family or give up my kids, watching my kids' game. That is a clear signal. Something, the balance is off, basically.
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa. It's a life balance, career balance, and also the hobby balance as well. All together, it's works balance out so perfectly. And so for the audience, don't give up on your dreams. Career is not just the only options we have. Even given we are very fast paced. Living in fast-paced Bay Areas. We have to stop you there, Teresa, because if I keep going on volleyball, you probably can share like you'll be attending the Olympics, Los Angeles 2020, some like a games, travel back and forth.
Probably not, but I can keep talking until wait for the next hour, and then I will tell you I gotta go. I have a game.
Absolutely, and again, Teresa is being humble. Hey, she haven't shared about like how many lessons she has been teach to lots of younger moms, and being lots of challengers to her in the games. So definitely being a very great player. And as my part of the job as moderator, it's a very meaningful note as a question of if you happen to share your top 3 advice to the Bay Area professionals, not just happen to be female, and can be male like me, happen to be special in this room today, but I'm sure there'll be future professional listening in. And when you're looking back in your career, what's 3 things you want to like top 3? I would say like advice, maybe like suggestions. You can bring it up to us.
So I don't have top 3. I have top 1.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah, because it stand out so much that I only have 1. But is to find your purpose. So actually, let me elaborate on that. I came to MJAA in 2018, and that was about the time that I transitioned on to become an engineering manager. And I feel there are so many challenges, but I don't know why. Because I look at a challenge, I believe I know what I need to do, but then somehow things are just not going my way or not going smoothly, right? And that became tough. And I get a lot of support from the MJAA family. I was with David Zhang's group, and they actually initially they guide help me with trivial problem, but then the bigger questions, they actually help me or guide me through the thought process. Because I remember the first time we met, David drew on the board with the 3 circles from Simon Sinek, start with why, right? So that you have the why, how, and what. I honestly, at that time, I don't think I get it. But then throughout the MJAA journey is, for me, it's actually a journey of self-reflection and exploration, because now I know why I struggled at that time. And when I joined Amazon, like I mentioned, that it's a comeback. It means a lot. It helped me find my identity, so that the purpose for that job, explain. It's a comeback, right? And it explained the first few years that it was such an exciting journey, very rewarding. But as I moved to an engineering manager, it's a path. Well, it's a great opportunity. Make no mistake. The path is already out there. People see potentials in me, and I have leadership and peer support. Everything, is set up perfectly. But turns out, those are external factors. And if you ask me, I actually have. I guess I lost my why at that point, because the purpose with Amazon is we can come back, and that has been served. And becoming an engineering manager doesn't serve that purpose, but I don't know what my purpose was. And I believe that was my greatest, that's the source of my greatest struggle, because it's not the external factor. It's coming from inside. I internally resisting it. And the journey with Monte Jade, it actually helped me re-examine. Okay, not only now I know that why it doesn't where my struggle come from, right? And I had a why before, and it's good. But then, what is my new why, right? What's my new purpose? And it helped me find it. And I believe I'm very lucky that I was able to. I actually found my next purpose. So that, and once the purpose is clear, then everything falls in place, because then I look at the things I'm doing, and turns out all the activities as an engineering manager doesn't align with my new why. And that is why, I struggle, because things that I do, I don't know why I'm doing it. Things that I really want, I couldn't get there. And that actually helped me, it helped me realize that it's time to close that chapter, the previous chapter, so that I can move on, right? I create capacity to, so that I can take action that's more aligned to my new why. So, and with the clear purpose, then leaving Amazon become, to me, it's a straightforward decision. I wouldn't say easy, but it's straightforward, because without doing that, then I cannot do what I'm doing now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Teresa. Finding the purpose, finding the why is being a huge challenge for for most of people. And believe it or not, lots of people, senior people, still being encountering that during a daily basis. They feel they are busy, but it's like the real busy or the busy.
Right.
We have some questions coming, but I want to leave it out like today's meeting is not enough. The new why about like your career coaching practice will probably make a different session going in the future to talk about.
I can quickly respond that, because Belinda has a question or have a comment that she's interested in how I changed career path to coaching.
Let's do it.
Right. So, context of my new purpose, it doesn't define by the size of the project or my paycheck. It sounds simple, but yet complicated. It defined by my happiness. But what is happiness, right? What is the source of my happiness? And that, I did a lot of thinking into it. And I realized that the source of my happiness doesn't come from grand gesture. So I don't need this huge event, live event, but come from, appreciating little things in life, right? Whether, I take a walk in the neighborhood and realize, oh, this flower is blooming, right? Or this bird is chirping like beautifully, or just spend time hugging my dog. So little things like that. But then I realized that, when I'm in the corporate, then I am like very occupied. My schedule is busy. I'm occupied. That it's not that I don't know they're there, but then I do not have the capacity to actually observe them, to slow down, to enjoy that. And that explained that I need a closure of my corporate job, and also give me it's a clear sign that I shouldn't talk to recruiter from other corporate at this moment. But then what should I do, right? And that comes to the how and what. When I left, I didn't have a clear idea what's next. I have some idea, but they didn't quite materialize at the time. And then COVID hit, and I remember one day, I think last March or April, when the unemployment rate was really bad in those several weeks. I look at them and say, this is interesting. Because unlike the time that I got laid off, it's like people are unemployed, but there was no job. This time, it's like very diverse. It goes in two opposite directions. There are people there are sectors that, really the job disappeared overnight, but then there are other businesses that job created overnight because of COVID as well. And a lot of people are looking, and suddenly it hit me, because I realized my experience as the interview bar raiser can help those people. Not coming from the tactical advice, like how you structure your story, things like that, but to help them understand the perspective of the interviewers, because I have been sitting across the table from them, right? How I see them, their response versus how they see it. Often there's a gap, and it's not their fault, because it's definitely a different perspective, right? Just like a teacher and a student, they are seeing different things. It's a different view. So maybe I can help them to, have a glance of these views to help, so that they can actually help themselves moving forward, how to adjust and position themselves going into an interview. And that is how I get started. And again, I get huge support from MJAA community. Initially, friends from within this group, they helped me with a few mock practice sessions so that they give me feedback. Yeah, they did. They give me feedback in, on the structures, on the content, the way I give feedback. And then also with the support from leadership, so that we started a webinar series called How Hiring Managers Think. And even the name, they helped me to come up with it as well.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. I listened that was a wonderful event.
So I'm really grateful, they with this support, I can, it helped me, kick off my the new chapter of my career.
Absolutely, Teresa. Just first of all, thank you for the true from the heart, like testimonies on MJAA. Really appreciate that. Just like me, I've been involved with that with this wonderful community in the past 5 years down the road, and there's just can't name out like how many wonderful people I have met. It's became not just like professional wise, but it's personalized. Like everything I've been encountered to in the Bay Areas, I know there's always a place I can go for.
Yeah, and coming into coaching, initially I thought, well, I have something to give back, right, to the community, not just MJAA, but general like job seekers community. But then these days my clients, they are actually global. I have clients I work with clients in Japan, in across the United States, from west to east coast, in Europe, in France, England, Hungary, all kinds of different people. And so much diverse in their background, culture, and all those things. They really open up my eyes. So in the end, I thought I was the one to give, but then I'm actually the one giving the most.
Wonderful, Teresa. I first of all, I'm pretty sure you are the one give, because I remember last time we chat, you have an appointment in the following hours, and that was happened to be a Sunday afternoon, and we were talking about it's like a high school student. They have homework to turn in before the summer ends. They kind of like run into the last minute before they go into an interview on the next Monday. Similar things, they want to have you to empower them on the end of a Sunday, so they can run into Monday strongly to taking all the interviews. So that was wonderful. I'm pretty sure you're the one giving them the power. And oh wow, so we are kind of like close to time. Have to wrap this up. I'm not sure if other audience have some questions. Feel free to chat me. We probably can just take like one or two more. Probably one more. And feel free to open your audio, unmute you and chat me in.
Hello, Teresa. I have a question. So thank you so much for your candid sharing, especially about insecurity when you came back to Amazon, joined the workforce. So I shared a similar struggle. It's not like I didn't join the workforce for some time, but because of some previous hiccup in my career, I feel I'm also kind of lagging behind my peers. So actually I worked for, first I'm now working at Amazon. So I joined as a software engineer as well. So I worked for, my previous manager is kind of a few years younger than me. I don't know how many exactly. So at that time when I joined his group, I also had this kind of a fear, like, oh, okay. Also, a lot of other team members are probably younger. So I had that insecurity as well. But I feel that experience also very invaluable. Meaning now I feel, I have the courage to face that and even turn it around. So and also inspired by my previous manager, I explored the transition from SDE to SDM myself. So official transition last year.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, I also very interested in the bar raiser program. I had been thinking to participate, but I know how kind of intensive the training could be.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just curious how you find out the time to do so many things. I feel that's very admirable.
Yeah, that is a great question. So
Me too.
I mean, I'm great to meet another Amazonian here. I resonate with what you said as well. At Amazon, there's so many great people, right? Great minds and brilliant ideas and people. So that sometimes it really takes a strong soul, I believe, to not feel insecure in that environment. But then a lot of time is needing to know your own value, because everybody join the team, everybody bring in their different set of values, right? Whether it's a technical skills or it's a soft skills or just a different walk of life, so that as collectively the entire team synergize and can offer great value back to the company as well. Yeah, and then to your question is how to craft time. I guess it goes, for me at least personally, it goes by my passion and priorities. So that for me, getting onto the bow racer journey is not easy as well, because they have this minimum eligibility, and the group I was with, it took me some time to meet that criteria as well. But then I think the hardest part is to decide that you want it, right? Once you decided, then things will follow. Whether you the different tactics to do, whether you block a certain time of the week only dedicated for the bar racer training activities, or more floating that maybe number of hours per week, but then reserving those times will help as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
No problem. If you're interested to chat more about the bar racer program, you can ping me offline.
Sure.
Yeah. Great feedback, Jim. Feel free to connect with Teresa, the ex-bar racer seniors communities. Yeah, love to have you here. Wonderful. And any more questions, or otherwise I'm probably going to.
I have a quick question. So during the years you were working and staying at home, compare those two situations, your relationship with your children, how do you feel? Is there any difference, or do you wish something could be different, or do you actually think the work-life balance works really better than just staying at home with them?
I guess it's a different stage of their life as well.
Mm-hmm.
I stay home during their early years, right? So that being home for them, I believe it brings them a lot of comfort. And also I was able to, take them to places, or, when they have school events, I'm always there, right? Even though they might not admit that, me being there make a difference, but then judging from their facial expressions, noticing me in the crowd versus not, I believe, it makes a difference. It's the Kodak moment for me, honestly. And when I re-enter the workforce, they are a little older, right? So they start to build their own communities, friends, circles. And I believe just coincidentally, it's the right moment for both me and them, because they are learning to become more independent. So with mom hovering around, it probably won't work too well. And it also, they also give me a chance right now to rediscover who I am, with kids a little older. Like I can, their need for having me around more of the nurturing nature is reducing, so that then how do I reposition myself? And quite honestly, I believe that my experience going back to the workforce and working with people, I believe, have a younger mind than me, helps me a lot, because now my kids are teenagers, they're high schools. So our relationship now, actually, sometimes I just think of them as my peers at work, right? So we become more of friends that way. But then I don't think I will be able to make that transition if I have been just home and having this mom identity the whole time. So I think the work experience actually helps me a lot as well.
Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot for your answer. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. If you ask them, then they will tell you, I actually sit down and and ask them for their goals, or if they need something, I ask them for the project plans.
Negotiators.
Yeah, and then negotiate back with me saying, do we need this? No MVP list, things like that. I mean, it's great learning for them, right? And it's a way for me to share and incorporate that into our daily life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One definitely good question, Amber. One I'm definitely sure is the two boys are very good volleyball players for
sure.
Oh
no, they are not into volleyball. One thing, let me bring up one thing, is that, you know, in the software world, usually there are like this DevOps, tech debt thing nobody want to do, but then we get it done, right? So I borrowed that idea, apply it at home, because now we are on a chore rotation. So we clearly define what are the duties when someone's on call, and then, you know, and have everybody commit to it, to the schedule, to the duties. So, and that actually solved a huge problem in my household. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Right. I have to wrap this up. We are running out of time. And during the session, I have a few people reach out to me, and it seems that they have some password issue. Well, we'll have even a bigger party next time. We'll address that, and we can talk more. And wonderful session today. And I'm just hoping. Thank you again, Teresa, for your time and being sharing your true career journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Teresa. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out to Teresa if any need for like career coachings and other even for like a volleyball session or something. And again, my wishing to everybody is hope you have finding your weekend purpose and finding the weekend why in the next day or two, and enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Howard, and thank you, Teresa, for being able to make it for the second alumni chat
the
series.
Pleasure is mine.
You're welcome. So let me go back to my screen sharing, and then after that we can, you know, let everyone go.
Should I end the recording? Not yet. Okay,
no,
let's finish.
No, yeah, just keep the recording on. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give my floor to Gloria. Actually, I forgot to mention that. We'll leave the most important to the last.
No worries. Yeah, so as you can see, actually, all this series of the events is basically come out with the efforts of the volunteers. And the ideas and the vision is, you know, to give back to the communities. And then as an MJAA alumni, everyone is part of the communities, and there will be ample, you know, opportunities for you guys to be involved and be part of the key players to all the MJAA activities, so that you can grow and, you know, grow your skills, your soft skills, and your public speaking skills together. So make it, use it, you know, leverage it. And then if you guys want to have any being part of it into any of the events, you know, feel free to reach out to David Cheng or to myself. So we are actually planning for another good, huge program that is called Alumni Connect, and the talk series is only one part of the Alumni Connect activity. So I'm actually planning and organizing and building up the program. Definitely needs a lot more of the players. So I actually need, you know, more people to be around on just to have the Alumni Connect to be successful. The key part of the Alumni Connect is to be able to unite, celebrate together, and then to grow together. Okay. So next I want to talk about is the 2021 and 2022 mentorship program, which is going to be chaired by Howard James, our moderator today. So if any one of your close peers who are interested to be part of this mentorship program and to join in, feel free to spread the word. This is a really great opportunity to be connected to a lot of, close connections to a lot of the key players in the tech and the non-tech industry. And as a lot of industries been transforming with technology these days. So it's really important and to be a close contact into it. And this is one of the useful nonprofit channel. Next is upcoming. So we are also going to have the May and the June. Today is May already. Sorry. June and the July talk coming up. So in June, we will have Will Yuan, who is an alumnus for 2018 cohorts, and then Rebecca Liao, who is also currently a VP of Controller at JP Morgan Chase and WePay, but also an alumna, and as well as an mentorship program chair in the 2011 cohorts. So last, we want to thank about all our other corporate sponsors to Monte Jade West. So without their sponsors, all these events and the mentorship programs really it's just not going to be able to happen. So with that, thank you so much for having taking the time and joining today's talk series, and we hope to see more attendees as we continue to build up. And one last thing, so in May 22nd, we're going to have a women leadership panels going on. So if you're interested, feel free to sign up. All the alumni, women's alumni, are going to get a special invitation, since this is a private and invited event only. All right, so that's all I have for today, and thank you so much. And we're going to give back the rest of the pleasant Saturday weekend time to all of you. Thank you, and have a great weekend.